Number two.
A film that still astounds me every time I see it. A film that is... I can't even begin to describe and put into words, but I will for the sake of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now.
Oh! Brando's performance in that.
Yeah, Brando, Martin Sheen.
About Brando in that. Are you guys for real right now?
What?
We can talk about Marty. I'll talk about Marty.
You don't like
will
Brando?
not talk about Brando. Because if we're going to talk about Brando, we need to talk about some other films. But fuck him for what he put Coppola through.
Well,
through
yeah.
the making of that movie.
Fuck Brando for what he put through everyone that he ever made a movie with. But
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
You don't know about?
Not
you gotta watch Heart of Darkness.
Army of Darkness?
Heart of Darkness.
Excuse me. Different movie. Heart of Darkness.
You should see that.
Oh,
that'll give you...
I know what he put...
you will love Heart of Darkness, yeah.
I know what he put the filmmakers of Dr. Violet Moreau through.
Oh, God, yeah, that's another great documentary.
I would never work with Brando. That guy seems like
Lost Souls of Violet Dr. Moreau. But
no. I mean, Streetcar Named Desire is my favorite Brando movie, but I would never work with him.
No, never. But Apocalypse Now is... just it's hard to conceptualize that film into, and there's so much going on. It is the quintessential war film in my mind. What it says about war, everything.
It's so imaginative. It's so different.
It's operatic.
When the French people are dining in that, oh my god.
That's another one. The first time I saw it, I did not like it.
No.
But then Ben loaned me a DVD once, and like, meh. Boring, and then Vin's like, "Hey, want to see Apocalypse Now? My treat at the Hollywood." I guess
that's a young Lawrence Fishburne, I think.
Yeah, very young.
Oh, he's in, he's in that.
Yeah, I think he's like 17.
Wow. And I'm like, I guess if you're paying, and we go in. Incidentally, it's a Blu-ray because the menu replayed like 18 times while we're sitting in the theater.
Yeah, it was an awkward showing of that.
It was weird.
Apparently, they got something mixed up with the prints that they were supposed to get from the studio.
And they showed us
they had to show a Blu-ray copy, but they couldn't figure out how to show the Blu-ray copy. So like the theater's full of people. And like the DVD menu's up there, and everyone's like, "Oh man, this is really taking it out of." But then coincidentally, 20 minutes into when the movie's supposed to start, it starts. Yeah. And I mean that opening scene with the doors, the end. With the helicopter, which we have parodied in our film.
That was the movie that made me realize how good of a fucking actor, excuse my language, Robert Duvall is.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about him.
He's a badass in that movie.
I just went, whoa, this is a Robert Duvall I'm not aware of.
Robert Duvall is
amazing. He has kind of a fairly small part, but
it doesn't matter.
But it eats the screen
so much.
Yeah.
So good.
What's that one he was great in a few years ago? Oh, him and Jack Reacher. Like he's going blind, but he's a sniper. And there's a scene where he has like his rifle and he hears a noise. And he's like, he fires out the direction of the noise, and he's so badass in it.
I forgot he was in that. Yeah,
he is the movie. I loved Jack Reacher the first time I saw it. The second time, lost a little bit of interest for me. But Robert Duvall was amazing in it.
Tangent, real quick. If you had to pick one movie to go on your list, a Tom Cruise movie, what would it be?
Give me a second.
Oh. I'm going to go crazy on you right now. Okay. Minority Report.
Oh my goodness.
And it's a film that I've only recently started to absolutely love.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that takes a couple times to watch it before you really fully appreciate it.
And I say that as a huge Top Gun fan.
Yeah. I'm going Jerry Maguire. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Fucking good. Yeah.
God, that's really fucking hard.
Yeah. Well, I noticed nobody had a Cruise movie on their list. So,
I know which one.
So we needed to...
Valkyrie for him.
Bring it up.
No, I hate Valkyrie.
I know you
Fuck
do.
you.
I know.
Okay.
It's hard without his filmography right in front of you.
Yeah.
The Minority Report's the first one that comes to my mind because that's honestly Blade Runner.
It's really
Minority
good.
Report.
It's really good.
I love that as a sci-fi film. It's great.
It's great.
1 second.
Oh, it's not that hard. Come on.
And then also back to Jerry Maguire while you said that. And Jerry Maguire is one of those films that I never had seen the full thing, beginning to end. Yeah. But you know, like, the kind of the scenes that are in that movie and, like, those great lines, right? And I always kind of like, oh, yeah, you know, you had me at hello, and, you know, show me the money. And then... And I always thought, oh yeah, it's that film. It's that romantic film with that, right? But then when I watched it, holy shit. Those scenes flawless. Are so great, and they work so perfect within the framework of that film.
Okay.
It's great so film. Good. So good.
All right, I have a couple.
Far and away?
I have a couple.
I'm saving those, Scott.
Rain Man, which of course you'd say Rain Man. And the other one, Born on the 4th of July.
Oh. Good. Yeah. I'm not as big of a Rain Man fan. I'm just I didn't quite.
I think it's probably Born on the 4th for me by an age, but it's kind of
Born on the 4th. He's great in that. That movie is what a performance. That might be his best performance.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's basically a Vietnam veteran.
It's a gutsy role too.
Yeah. He accidentally shoots a Vietnamese kid during one of their, I guess, patrols, and he feels guilty about it, and eventually, somehow through the war, he loses his ability to walk, and he becomes an anti-war activist, and it's his journey from basically this gung-ho young man, kind of with a John Wayne sensibility. He's like, I want to serve my country, I want to serve America, and he becomes jaded when he comes to through this course of his personal life. He becomes jaded. And he realizes that, in his opinion, that the war was pointless. It was a waste of time, and he felt used by the government. But it's my uncle hates it. He's like, oh, he didn't really come to that realization. Honestly, he's just pissed that he can't walk anymore, and now he's complaining about the war. But I have a different opinion. I think it's a good, it's a definite character arc movie. You go from point A to point B, and you can see how it happened.
It's very relatable to a lot of soldiers.
I'm sure. But what's good about it is it's not just like how he acts in. That changes. It's how the film shows the setting. In the beginning, it's like, I guess, kind of a blue velvety, like, not the Dennis Hopper stuff, but like the 1960s, like neighborly, like, oh, there's a patriotic parade. There's a parade in the beginning, I think, with World War II soldiers, and everyone's clapping and cheering, and it's a very patriotic feeling in the beginning. There's a scene early on where he's watching JFK get sworn in, and the part that they focus on for the character, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And he's standing there and he's like, what can I do for my country? He doesn't say that, but you can tell that's what's going through his mind. Yeah. And then the war happens, and he comes back. The country is more chaotic. The revolution of the 60s is taking place. People are treating the Vietnam veterans like complete shit because people have come to realize that the war wasn't really what they believed it was, and a lot of the blame for the war in those days was shouldered by the troops. They returned, they got sprayed on and everything, and that jaded him even further, and he became one of the protesters. And basically, it's, by the end, he's like this high-profile anti-war protester. And the end of the film, if I recall, is him getting arrested at the I can't remember if it's the 68 or the 72 Republican Convention.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's where the film ends. He goes from gung-ho, I'm going to fight for my country, to this war was pointless, I'm protesting the convention.
Yeah.
And that is my favorite Cruise movie. Rain Man is probably second, but this is it's the best Tom Cruise movie I've seen. And I think he's stripped of I like his performances fine enough, but I always get, like with the Mission Impossible movies, which I like, I always kind of feel like this movie star sheen, kind of like there's a little bit of that movie star arrogance that he still has. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to...
And
I think, he's never quite got back to that kind of echelon of performance that he did in Born on 4th of July. And he's very capable of it.
And it's a movie not many people know of.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's Tom Cruise now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's Tom Cruise.
Not many people know about that film either.
Let me corral that
sad.
back to why we were talking about this in the first place, which is number 2, Apocalypse Now. Because I'd like to talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
But, we got away from it quite a bit, but
Hey, Vietnam! We came back to Vietnam.
Yeah, exactly.
Know, right?
It didn't
War story.
Yeah, fuck you, Alan, for throwing that at us. But and perfect segue because as I remember, Born on the 4th of July, I think I've only seen it 2 times or so, but really kind of more about the before and after. I don't remember it spending a lot of time in the suck, as if you will, or in the actual like war itself. Mm-hmm. Whereas Apocalypse Now is directly in that, and so it's a good kind of companion film about the horrors of war.
Absolutely.
Inside, and you can really see that character arc exposed like that. But Martin Sheen also, I said earlier, Kurt Russell's my favorite actor. Martin Sheen's number 2. West Wing's my favorite TV show of all time. Martin Sheen, I mean, he never gets his due, but he is so damn good, and he is so good.
And in Heart of Darkness, they talk a lot about what he gave to that, what he was willing to do. To be vulnerable. Man,
Apocalypse Now is just so good. It's hard to really say so much about it, but man, I'll just pinpoint it to that notorious like final 20 minutes of the movie.
Oh,
and where the movie is so great and crazy, and it leads up to this just off the wall. Like finally, you've been hearing about this General Kurtz and everything, and then he arrives to the area. Dennis Hopper is talking it up. They've got all these natives that are there, and they're just like, oh my God, we're here, and Brando, yes, even though he is an asshole,
it's Brando.
They set those cameras to record, and he lit up. Yeah. He lit a fire in that role, and and just that scene where he's getting ready to kill
another performance sold by sweat.
Yeah, and he's getting ready to kill him, and he's approaching, and he comes out of that water with the camouflage, and the music's playing, and they're getting ready to slaughter the cow.
And the shadows on the wall.
Oh man,
they would never get away with it.
That is a sequence. That is a sequence that I still want to look away from, because that cow thing is disgusting and very disturbing. But it's just man, and I'll bring this back to Uncle Buck with that sequence, and when
I would love to see how this connects.
I know. Well, but with that sequence that I mentioned earlier with Uncle Buck, when it's cutting back and forth between the two things that are kind of connected,
right.
And you're kind of and it's the same style of that scene. I know it's weird to mention Uncle Buck and not the same, but off the top of my head, that stuff, those scenes. That's why I'm a filmmaker. Yeah. If I could do anything like that, if I could think up something like that, those sequences are great, and how it leads up to the horror.
The Corporal was just a madman.
Yeah. I want to see Heart of Darkness again now that we've been talking about that. But Apocalypse Now, second favorite film of all time.
Please watch Heart of Darkness.
I'll
watch it with you,
because
I want to see it.
For a filmmaker to not see that is just a travesty.
Good. Yeah. It's really quickly though. I want to point out that the man who made Apocalypse Now also made the 1996 hit Jack with Robin Williams.
Which he gets trashed for. So he kind of veered off really in these later years. But I'll tell you right now, I went through a huge Coppola phase.
Well, he got older and more...
Bram Stoker's Dracula, his Dracula, I will defend that till my dying day. Absolutely love that. Best opening sequence of all time.
Is that Dustin Hoffman? No.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, which does get an all but hammy performance. But Gary Oldman plays the vampire. Anthony Hopkins plays Van Helsing.
Doesn't he have like tits on his head?
Well, That's the hairdo that he has.
Oh, yeah.
But man, that opening scene.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
What? Dustin Hoffman's on it. That's Gary Oldman. What is it?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Gary Oldman,
Oh, man, dude, I'm a huge fan of that movie.
I'm a huge Gary Oldman fan, too. I always thought that was Dustin Hoffman.
No.
Wow. I haven't seen it
and not only that, obviously...
Dracula by far.
Oh, I think so, too.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Godfather and Godfather 2, Godfather 3 can go suck a fat cock.
Yes.
But another film that I absolutely loved of his, that... is it called Tucker? What's the one with... it's Jeff Bridges making the cars. Is that Tucker, A Man in His Dream or something?
I don't know, but you want to talk about Gary Oldman, we can talk about Leon the Professional.
Tucker, A Man in His Dream.
Tucker, A Man in His Dream.
It's about a guy trying to make a new car company.
Another perfect slice of that, like...
it's a representation of that era. Jeff Bridges is amazing. We met him too.
Yeah. But yes, Leon the Professional, Gary Oldman's best performance.
On my list, yeah.
Yeah, that film's great. Movie. I love Milk too.
And I love Fifth Element.
Gotta drink your milk for bones.
Yeah.
Oh, Fifth Element. I'm not a huge. I don't like Fifth Element, but
I like it, but it's not anywhere near the list.
Yeah.
But Gary Oldman, man, it's just and Sam Rockwell. Holy fuck, I love Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. Okay. So number 2. Now that we've finished Apocalypse Now's tangent.
And we won't spend that long on my number 2.
Okay.
Just because it's not that epic.
Yeah.
My number 2 is definitely a reflection of my childhood.
Uh-huh.
It is Now and Then. And the Now and Then, it's got Gabby Hoffman, Thora Birch, Christina Ricci, and I don't know her name. And then the adults, of course, are Melanie Griffith, Demi Moore, Rosie O'Donnell, and...
oh, damn. Like, I may have seen that come on TBS one time, but I've never seen it.
I've never heard of it.
When, I feel like everybody grows up wanting that group of friends, that core group of friends, and especially people that are kind of weirdos that don't have that close group. They just have a lot of acquaintances, I guess you will. But that was the first movie I ever saw that changed my life. That made me. I remember I was 10 years old. Me and my cousins and my mom and my aunts. We walked into the movie theater, and I walked out a changed person. And it was, and it's so crazy to me because it's a movie about 4 girls.
Yeah.
They grow up, but their sex doesn't matter because it's about the experiences that they have. Yeah. And that movie will.
No, man.
And you were still able to relate to it because of. What they go through the film
because of his vagina. Yeah,
yeah, right. Just because of
Sexist.
well, because it's the same thing. You think about you put yourself in that.
Oh yeah,
that group of friends is so close that
Other films like that, which are great. Well, they're not like that, but yeah, The Goonies, E.T., Stand By Me,
which was almost on my list. Yeah,
films in Oregon. Ben and I have talked about going out to. Brownsville, where the films, the town part, Stand By Me.
Yeah.
If we ever do that, you should join us.
How far is Brownsville from here? I forget now. Is that near Eugene, isn't it?
It's a small town out in the middle of Oregon.
I thought it was, and Richard Dreyfuss, again. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Narration.
Stand By Me, man.
Great. He's a great narrator in that.
Yeah, he is. Okay, what's your number 2?
Back to the Future.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was waiting for
another constant variable. I knew that was going to be in his.
It's
because the power of love
is a serious thing.
It's a curious thing.
Curious thing. Makes one man weep
and another man
sing.
Change your heart to a little white dove.
But don't you feel it? That's the power of love. It don't need money. My mom's doing a gun to her throat because she doesn't like Huey Lewis for some reason. She's a cold-hearted woman.
Oh man,
we're on number 2.
Don't take fame.
We're almost there.
John, for good movies. Sam, you're not part of this podcast.
She's like, Mommy's not cold-hearted.
We're almost done with the good films. I think we should take a break after this.
We should probably save the bad films because I would love to do some research myself.
Honestly, that would be a good idea.
Okay, fine.
And then we'll talk about why we hate
them.
But
I also want to do like a normal podcast one of these days. But anyway, back to the
it's all fine. Yeah.
Back to the Future.
So Back to the Future is worth talking about because wow.
Oh my god, it was
good. Could have been on my list too.
It was like when.
Although I prefer Back to the Future too.
when Ben talks about
Just kidding.
Ben talks about Jaws and stuff and how that was the big film of his childhood, or other films that he's mentioned like that, like Indiana Jones. Back to the Future was pretty much for me. When I first watched it, I was like 8 or 9 or something, and I was mesmerized, and I probably wore out my VHS of it.
Yeah.
And I, you know what's the ironic thing? I don't have a copy of it. I had a DVD a while back, and I think it's gone somehow. But
I have it on Blu-ray. You can borrow mine.
Yeah, I'll have to get it on Blu-ray too, because the 30th anniversary came out recently, and it's just a
wow. That sounds like a great birthday gift idea,
doesn't it? Though,
yeah.
But the 30th anniversary Blu-ray edition. But anyway, of Back to the Future. But anyway,
Man, I should take notes.
Anyway, it's just something I was obsessed with. I watched it all the time as a kid, over and over. I remember when I went to Universal Studios when I was 11 years old, how excited I was to see a DeLorean in person.
Oh yeah.
I had my picture taken in front of one, and you could see I was actually my senior yearbook. Mom bought one of those things where parents can pay a lot of money to write a note to the kid that's graduating that year.
Yeah.
And that was one of the pictures, me in front of the DeLorean.
Oh, nice.
I remember my sheer breathlessness when I got to see the clock tower in person. For some reason, the film meant so much to me, and it has everything. It's romance, it's comedy, it's
it's
got
one of
that
those
style.
perfect movies.
Yeah,
it really is.
Well, I love. There's something about those films that like that and like Ghostbusters, where it's like a world built, and you believe that world exists so much that it's just like, it'd be weird without it.
Stay Puft was my hero, but
What?
Stay Puft Man was my hero, as you can see. But Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox is excellent. He was when that was made, he was also doing Family Ties. So for the most part, it's like during the day he'd be at the Back to the Future set, and then like a certain time in the evening, he would like throw on his Alex P. Keaton clothes and go film a Family Ties episode. And this went on for several weeks, at least, as the film was being made.
Wow.
And what's interesting to me about that film is they finished like most of the film with a different actor from Michael J. Fox. It was Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, I never heard about that.
Originally, they filmed most of the movie, and apparently the guy that plays Biff has ripped Eric Stoltz apart for being a complete prick. He apparently insisted everyone called him Marty on set. Like he was trying to
Some no name.
He was and stuff.
It was a pretty well known.
Have you seen Mask? Cher's in it. She has a deformed son. Eric Stoltz plays the deformed son. He wears the makeup.
Elephant Man? What are we talking?
No,
I don't know.
Oh, damn it, Elephant Man.
That's another
damn
good one.
film.
Yeah.
But Eric Stoltz he plays Rocky Dennis in Mask. He's a deformed guy who finds meaning through friendship or some story like that. But anyway.
But yeah, clearly it wasn't working.
It wasn't working, and you see the footage, and you can see why they switched out.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a bad performance.
Oh, I thought you meant there was that he was still in the film.
No.
Oh,
no, I know this story. I've seen footage, I think.
Yeah, he was taken out.
I think I saw the screen tests.
And it was a fine enough performance, but his performance made it darker than what they wanted. He was playing it really seriously, and they wanted someone who could make it a little lighthearted, but still give a good
Fox
performance.
Was perfect.
Perfect.
Well, I think the thing
I cannot
is
mention
Stoltz is not likable. I don't think Stoltz is. He's not that.
He's likable in Mask, but maybe that's because he's wearing like 8 pounds of latex.
Yeah, but I don't think when I think of Eric Stoltz, I don't think of someone. I don't think of him as an actor to play roles that are likable. But either way.
But apparently, according to Biff, what's his name? Thomas F. Wilson.
Yeah.
He while he was trying to, he was making everyone call him Marty.
Like something that Daniel Day-Lewis would make do for him. Call me Abe.
But anyway, well,
gangs in New York, man.
he's not. Stoltz is not Daniel Day-Lewis. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
he was trying to make everyone call him Marty. He was also trying to make out with Leah Thompson.
Can you
who
blame
plays
him?
his mother.
But yeah.
So if he's going to be method, you got to go all the way.
Got to go
you?
full method.
Come here, Mom. You know.
But great choice. Great choice is
Back
number 2.
I love Back to the Future. It's pretty much everything. And we met Crispin Glover, who that's one of my worst movies.
You did meet Crispin Glover?
Yeah,
we met him
at
There's
Cinema
pictures.
Wow. Was he a total weirdo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's exactly like you would expect.
Awesome.
Beyond what I expected.
Yeah.
Let's go to number 1.
Number 1.
Oh my goodness.
Number 1. For years, I would say Jaws was my number 1 film of all time.
There it goes.
This is a film that I saw once on VHS, and which the ending was something that literally blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Because it was really the first time for me where an ending literally ripped my heart out, and yet I had this demonic smile. And I won't say the ending because I'm sure you probably haven't seen it, because I don't want to ruin that, because the ending is literally so good.
And Misery's ending.
Yeah, he burns the book. Brian De Palma's Blowout. Blowout stars John Travolta, Nancy Allen, Dennis Franz, and as the lead villain, John Lithgow. Favorite movie of all time.
Actors, dude.
You would love this movie.
And
That's why I'm writing it down.
It is so damn good. The visuals are the best. The visuals are so good. The acting is so good. The writing is so good. It's set in Philadelphia, and you get such a vibe of Philadelphia. I wanted to go to Philadelphia simply to have a cheesesteak and see all the places where this movie was shot.
That movie is Philadelphia. It's like we were talking about Chicago with
Yep.
Bueller and Blues Brothers, and
Yep.
L.A. with L.A. Confidential and Big Lebowski. The identity of Philadelphia is definitely in that movie, particularly because the climax of the film takes place during a 4th of July parade.
Yeah. And, it's a movie that I will sit down and watch with anyone.
Can't believe.
I will be like, watch
should watch it
Blowout,
soon.
and I just love to watch the people react to Blowout.
I would like to watch it with you.
Yes.
Yes.
And, we also got to see that in 35mm at Hollywood, which is to this day the best viewing experience of my life.
Oh my god. The climax.
Yeah.
We should,
Man.
we should go take him over to your place and watch it.
The climax of that movie is
immensely satisfying.
It is. It's so good. It's perfect. De Palma is one of those filmmakers that I absolutely like. A few years ago, I was like, "Oh, De Palma, what a hack!" Because in my head, I thought, "Oh, Mission to Mars." I thought Snake Eyes. I thought, all of his kind of like he's one of those filmmakers
I love
like
Snake
John
Eyes.
Carpenter. I do love Snake Eyes, but it's a bad movie. But there's a lot of filmmakers out there that it's like one for them or one for the studio, one for them kind of a thing.
Yeah. Spike Lee kind of.
Yeah, and
You feel like he's all for the studio.
Well, that's before,
Yeah.
and I had taken a class
Yeah.
on De Palma, and I was a little bit of a fan of a few of his films before, but I really started to love his films, so I took that class.
I remember when you signed up for the class. I was honestly surprised because I remember you kind of had a derisive attitude.
Yeah,
towards
and I
that
hated
film.
Untouchables at that time too. I've grown to like that film.
I like that movie.
And
Untouchables, so.
but and Carrie's a De Palma film as well. It's now one of my favorite all-time films. Body Double is a film that's not on my list, but it is. Body Double is
You've seen it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Body Double's up there for me.
You saw the house recently too on your trip.
Chemosphere House, yeah. I drove up Mulholland Drive just to check out that house.
It looks like the Space Needle.
Yeah, but and
God, Body Double.
yeah, great. So much going on in that film.
And I love his frequent use of Dennis Franz.
Yeah,
I'm used to him
he
being
plays the
Cigarettes.
director in Body Double. He plays But in
So
Blowout,
awesome.
man, there's just the visuals are so quintessential De Palma. He uses that split diopter where it's got you got the character close and you got something far, but they're both in focus and it looks so weird.
There's like a little blur between the two.
Yeah, there's a little small blur. You'll know exactly when you see it. It's great. You got slow motion. De Palma is so great at using music and slow motion together. And just overblown. It's dramatic. It's over the top. The opening sequence of Blowout, which even as it being my favorite film, I always forget that that's the opening sequence. And every time it kicks on, I'm like,
Oh, I just remembered. I was trying to think of it.
It's so
I just
good.
remembered.
And it's so funny. There's such great humor, but there's such great just pull out. And when when I saw Carrie live, Nancy Allen was there. Nancy Allen also plays the lead role in Blowout. And I literally, like, when I met her, she's also in RoboCop. She's a great actress. She's been in a lot of movies. And I was like, Blowout means so much to me, and you are so great in it. And she's, how old are you? And I was like, at the time, I don't know how old I was, probably 22, 23.
Right.
And she's like, and you like that? You like Blowout? And I was like, you have no idea. Every time I see that movie, it's just like, and you were so good. In that ending with you reaching out and the American flag's behind you and you're screaming for your life. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. But that lead up, that slow motion lead up when he's running.
Tarantino's
favorite film as well.
That's why Travolta's in Pulp Fiction is because of Blowout.
It's because of Blowout. Yeah, I found that out. It's
Tarantino's
favorite film as well.
Actually, I said that was Travolta's best performance. I'll admit that's one of his two best performances. The other one is American Crime Story. He's amazing in that.
Oh yeah, as Robert Shapiro.
Robert Shapiro. That a lot of people give him flack for it. I think it's an amazing performance.
He's great in it. But that's kind of funny thing about De Palma too is that he made a lot of studio films, Mission Impossible, Snake Eyes. God, there's a whole bunch of other I'm forgetting. Untouchables is studio films. But then when he would come back and make kind of a smaller budgeted film, more kind of closer to his heart, really knocked it out of the park. And a lot of people give De Palma flack for really wearing his influences on his sleeve. Body Double is kind of pretty much like Rear Window with a little bit of 80s mixed into it. And there's so many things that he takes story-wise from different, Blowout is almost like it's a rip-up of Blow Up, which is about a movie about a guy who's a photographer who sees a picture that has a dead person in it, and he's kind of trying to figure out how that happened. Well, Blowout is about a guy who's a sound guy who's doing sound, getting some natural noise, and he sees a car fly off a bridge into the water. He tries to save them, and it's a guy who's running for president, and he's dead, and he saves the girl being Nancy Allen.
We should get Tim Conn and Pierce Lacerda to watch that movie.
Oh man, I think I might watch Blowout when I go home, dude. I gotta watch it again, but it's so good.
Hey, can we go with you? Can you watch it at your place?
I gotta watch it again.
It's so damn good.
It's great. I wish I would have known your number one, but I'm glad I don't because that gives me something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't recommend it enough, man.
Good.
I will watch that film. Film's back here. I just will watch the person watch the film because the ending, the last 30 minutes, man. The last 30 minutes is while I want to make films for the rest of my entire life.
It's kind of like what you wanted Interstellar to do.
I liked Interstellar a lot.
I did too, but I wanted more at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Like I was in love until the end, and then I had to
Murph!
let it kind of get...
I feel like
Murph!
But,
you know what? I've heard other people say stuff like that and say that they hate Interstellar. I feel like I'm an Interstellar defender, actually. I love that.
I liked Interstellar. It's not one of my favorite films by any means, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I loved it until a certain point, and then I kind of lost it. But
Let's go. Love him.
By far, my favorite film. I don't see anything toppling it ever, to be honest.
Wow.
You used to say the same thing in Zodiac, and that's not even in the
And
top
Zodiac
10.
isn't even my... Yeah, that's...
And Jaws,
yeah.
which of course was his...
Have you seen
previous
Zodiac?
number one. Zodiac.
David Fincher?
Pretty good.
Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal.
The Zodiac Killer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
It's a rip-off of Dirty Harry.
Actually, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh.
That's your favorite?
No, great movie.
Yeah, that's
That's Chancey's favorite.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
rightfully so. Well written.
And then there's another one that's great is Giovanni Ribisi. I Love Your Work. If you haven't seen that, I highly
I Love Your Work.
I Love Your Work is what it's called.
Oh.
I highly recommend it. Yeah. My number one is, of course,
My Girl.
no, The Bee Stings. No,
Do the other one, please.
His glasses. He can't see without his glasses.
You made my life.
My favorite movie of all time is Rudy.
Oh, you told us that. Oh, of course. Duh.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Explain.
It's hard to explain. I don't know.
Oh, he's a short little guy. He'll never make it.
It
He's
sounds so
Jeff hates it.
cliche
I
to
don't
kind
hate
of
it.
follow that because it really is kind of the epitome of like a Hollywood story of he faces rejection and then he tries again. He faces rejection and then he tries again.
Sounds
And
like a Capra movie.
He finally is victorious in what he's trying to achieve, but. There's just I think it's unspeakable. I have no idea what it is, but Sean Astin in that movie is so good. He's just so Rudy. He's not, an actor. I don't know. It's just
That baby's great in that movie too.
and the music is so good. The introduction of Jean Favre and
Favreau's in it?
and
Vince Vaughn's in it too.
Vince Vaughn, thank you.
What?
Yeah,
They're two like best friends.
Favre and
Vaughn?
Vaughn at a young welcome to the industry phase, and it's just I don't know. It's just like
Is Vaughn one of the football players?
No, I like him.
Vaughn is a football player. Favre is his best friend in the movie. Yeah,
Gotcha.
But I don't know what that look is, but yeah, I love it. It's a great movie.
No, I love the movie.
It's been so long since I've seen it.
It's weird. So, a sports movie is kind of like a...
No, growing up, Rudy was one of my favorite movies too. I watched it all the time. It was always on, like on TNT or like TBS or something. I watched it endless times. In fact, I remember when I first was getting allowance, there used to be a movie shop up near Big Lots where that Mart is. There used to be a movie shop up there.
Oh, yeah, that was
when I
such a
first
seedy
started.
place.
It was a seedy place. But they used to have sidewalk sales. And I saved up my allowance to buy a copy of Rudy, which was vastly overpriced. At that time, I think it was like $20.
VHSs were expensive back in the day.
This was DVD. And
Did it have like the pigskin, like... That's my copy has the pigskin...
No, it's him. It's him sitting atop when they're like, oh, you see.
Well, yeah, but on the outside, like a pigskin border. Oh,
no pigskin border.
Sorry.
Anyways, even at the time, I'm thinking, man, I spent so much money on this, but man, I watched it. I loved Rudy. Rudy's a good film.
It's one I haven't seen. It's been I've seen it, but it's been years since I have, and I have no reason to mock it, but for some reason the premise, when I hear the premise, it makes me laugh. Little guy wants to be a football player, and my son's in Notre Dame, and I picture a leprechaun running down the field.
Well, and that's the thing about it is that it's just so like Rudy, like really. Yeah, I invite anybody listening that has not seen it to go on the journey that is Rudy.
Besides Major League, I think it's my favorite sports film. I have to say Major League's my favorite.
Wow, Ben just gained respect points right there.
Oh wow,
big time.
I love it.
Major League is.
But I also love Tin Cup, and I also love Bull Durham. I like sports films, but
Major League is.
But Major League's.
I'm not sure if I have a favorite sports film. I've always wanted to make a sports film. I think it'd be fun.
Me too. Absolutely, yeah.
It's
because it's so. I don't know. Yeah.
Geoff.
All right.
Your final film.
My final film. Ben is probably aware of what it is. And it was hard to pick this one, but it's no particular order I said this, but I think this deserves to be up there. Alexander Payne's Election.
Oh, fuck. I didn't put that in mine.
Reese Witherspoon the greatest performance of her life.
Called
Matthew Broderick's
Election?
in it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
You never seen it?
Oh, man!
It is an
Good
incredible
Lord.
Wow,
film.
I didn't see either of you guys' number ones. That's not good.
It's an incredible film. It's basically the premise is there's this young go-getter student, Tracy Flick, who and there's she's just one of those people in every club. She's in the student government. She's in yearbook. She's one of those real high school go-getters. Nothing but ambition on her mind, and her high school teacher, played by Matthew Broderick, is watching her, and he's like, "I hate this fucking chick."
Wow.
And there's in the film, Tracy has an affair with his best friend, who's also a teacher in the school, and that gets the teacher fired. And Matthew Broderick thinks that she manipulated the teacher into the relationship. Although it shows multiple points of view in the film, it goes from. I can explain that in a minute, but basically he decides when she's running for student body president, he decides to throw in a ringer, and it's what's his name?
I know who the guy is.
1 second.
Chris something is the actor.
He's in the American Pie movies, but this was his first one.
Oh, Chris Klein.
Chris Klein.
Yeah.
Chris Klein's
Yes.
the actor, yeah.
He throws in Chris Klein. He's this incredibly popular sports guy at school. He plays football. Recently, he broke his leg, so he can't play football the rest of the year, and he's kind of aimless. And he's kind of a dumb, clueless guy. But the teacher's like, "Hey, why don't you run for student body president? You're popular," and he's trying to derail Tracy from winning the presidency. And Tracy's this like strong, like kind of bitchy personality, but Witherspoon plays her so well.
We all went to school with one of those girls.
Absolutely. But and I love her. But she's just a force to be reckoned with. And it's fun. It's kind of a story you don't see that often. It focuses on a high school election, and it's kind of fun. I've been through one myself. I was elected to student government for my senior year of high school, and it was.
So it's close to home.
Kind of. It was nothing
Charlie
like
Bartlett.
It was nothing like it was in the movie at all. It gets pretty crazy in the movie. There's, it gets ugly in the movie, and the teacher.
I figured it did. Then I mean, I can see where it might. Yeah.
I won't give away too much, but the teacher is gung ho that Tracy not win, and.
One of my favorite sequences from that movie is the bee sting sequence.
Oh, yes. I forget. Yes. The bee lands on his eye. Yeah. He stings him, and he suddenly gets... It's basically where he starts to psychologically fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Matthew Broderick's best performance, I think. I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I loved... I loved that movie. I liked Cable Guy pretty well, but his performance in Election, he's kind of, for the most part, a straight-laced high school guy, teacher, with a few prejudices against this one student, and through his acting and through Reese's acting, and the writing and everything, you see why he hates this kid. She comes across so insufferably, but it's also told from the point of view of, it's told from Matthew Broderick's point of view, Tracy Flick's point of view. That's the Reese Witherspoon character, and I think maybe might be the most iconic one, although Legally Blonde is up there, but Election is far better. Chris Klein's character, and he has a lesbian sister, who I didn't care as much about for some reason as the other characters. She's also a narrator, so there's four different narrators in the film, and it goes from Broderick's perspective, narration, to Witherspoon's, to Klein's lesbian sister, and there's a lot of details in the film that I'm not covering. Like basically, where the lesbian sister comes in, she's having this relationship with a girl, who one day says, "You know what? I'm done. I'm not." She tells her, "I'm not a dyke. I was just experimenting," and she breaks her heart and ends up just dating the lesbian's brother, and becomes kind of his campaign helper for the high school election, and
Interesting.
And to throw a wrench into them for some revenge, the lesbian sister starts running for president. So there's now 4 candidates when originally there was just going to be Tracy Flick, and it's it's the movie is so freaking good. Like,
Alexander Payne, I don't think has made a bad film. He has made nothing but greatness.
The ones I've seen, I think the one that's lowest on my list is probably Sideways, and I love Sideways.
Yeah, same here. And Sideways was like the one of his that which was like nominated for Best Picture and stuff too. And I love Sideways, absolutely love it. But yeah, it is the lesser of all.
Descendants in Nebraska.
Descendants,
oh my
Nebraska
God.
was so damn good. About Schmidt.
I forgot about Schmidt.
I heard
And then,
Nebraska was really good.
great, fantastic. Then the other one. What's the other one? Citizen Ruth.
Oh!
Citizen.
That's my second favorite.
Fucking Ruth.
That's
so damn good.
it was a risky film to make too, because
risky as all hell.
It's basically it's a story about a woman who's considering getting an abortion, and like she gets caught up in a war between the pro-choice and the pro-life side, and both sides are so fucking extreme in this movie.
Yeah.
That there's a scene where she's at a goes into to an abortion clinic, but she's intercepted by pro-life protesters, and she's about to go in, and they're all there's a whole group of them there, and there's this one woman. Why did you come away with me? She looks like this churchy woman. She's wearing like a pink wool sweater, blonde hair, glasses. And she's like, okay, come here, sweetie. Life is the only way. And they're driving away from the pro-life protest. And the woman takes off her sweater, takes off the blonde wig and her glasses. She's like, I am a mole for choice. And like she was masquerading as a pro-life protester. And Citizen Ruth is, if we did a top 10 comedies, that'd probably be on there.
I was considering bringing that up. We should do top 10 comedy just because we're all comedy lovers.
Damn.
Oh man.
Yeah, Citizen Ruth.
And
that final
Laura
shot.
Dern is one of my favorite actors.
Final shot in Citizen Ruth. Final shot.
Oh, that's a great
so
payoff.
fucking powerful.
It's
so fucking powerful.
It makes a point about it that. Have you seen it, Ellen?
No.
Laura Dern's in it. Favorite
Oh,
actress. Boom.
There's his too. He's just
Oh yeah,
wow.
she's the best, man.
But she's not my favorite. That's Kathy Bates, but she's definitely like second.
She was terrible in Tammy.
Who?
What?
Laura Dern.
Kathy Bates.
Oh, Kathy Bates was.
Well, I think Tammy. It's like when you drink, when you bathe in lead water, you can't expect to come out uncontaminated. You know.
Damn.
What I mean?
You know what though? You say that because you hate Melissa McCarthy. I usually love her in that movie. It's just that it's even got what's his name in it?
Susan Sarandon.
No, well yeah.
Dan Aykroyd?
No,
No, he's busy shitting on other movies.
no, he was in it. He was the dad in it. And he only showed up at the end. It's like they got him for like one day.
Hi, I'm Dan Aykroyd.
Mark Duplass.
Oh, that's the guy who... What's that show?
I love the Duplass Brothers. Yes. Are you watching that?
I'm a huge Duplass Brothers
Are
fan.
you watching that
No,
show?
I've never seen Together.
Oh,
I'm just a huge fan of The League and just that
I love
general.
Mark and Jay Duplass,
Yeah,
dude.
dude, they're great.
Speaking of
Coffee
bringing it back to
chair.
Transparent, because you were talking about Gabby Hoffman, Jay Duplass is in Transparent with Gabby Hoffman. They both act in it.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of transgendered characters, I've always wanted to make a film where you play a transgendered woman. A trans woman.
Wow, and that wraps up our best films perfectly.
Yes. Alan would make a great trans woman. Just shave and get some lotion in your face.
Alan.
Well, actually,
You kind of have Gabby Hoffman eyebrows.
No, they're not quite as huge.
Not quite.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
You tweeze.
I am momentary horror. So, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
We're gonna cut that off.
Anyway, so let's wrap it up. Thank you, everybody.
That's it for top 10 films.
For top 10
only took a few
films. Thanks for listening. I'm Geoff Crenshaw.
I'm Ben Eastman.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.